This episode of Inside Voices is sponsored by Kids Bop, today's hits sung by kids for kids. Kids Bop takes popular hits and creates clean, family-friendly versions. This makes it perfect for everything from classroom parties to creating class playlists.
You can head over to kidsbop.co.uk/teachers for the latest classroom and teacher resources. These resources include everything from seated dance-alongs to British Sign Language and even printables to make your classroom a more engaging place.
Or why not build a classroom playlist with your class's favourite hits? Kids Bop is also available on all streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify.
Welcome back to Inside Voices, a teacher podcast by teachers for teachers, where we discuss all things education. I'm your host, Laura.
And I'm David.
And remember that in here, we use our inside voices. So this week we're talking all things Christmas, and Christmas in a primary school is it's quite a unique situation, but obviously the Christmas show, the Nativity, that is peak primary school memories. So always the best way to start it, but do you have any memories from when you were in school doing the Nativity or doing school shows?
Let me tell you. So
He's got a tale.
You'll remember that I told you I was the star of the show in Primary 7?
Oh yeah, obviously. I'd expect nothing less.
Jack and the Beanstalk, I was Jack. To any avid listeners, you'll remember that I forgot my last line in the show. It was the biggest disaster ever. Well, Primary 1. Usually the people that are the star of the show in Primary 1 are Joseph and Maury. I was about to say Joseph and Maury. Joseph and Mary.
What kind of nativity is this?
Joseph and Mary, right?
Joseph and Maury.
It's been a long day. Anyway, the year that we did it, for some reason, we didn't do the kind of nativity. It was one of those ones that was like, I kind of made up whatever, but it was called The Little Angels. It was all about the angels' perspective. It was kind of a fourth wall breaking moment, right? Anyway.
To get technical.
Your boy was a little angel.
Of course, of course.
So there's me and one other kid. He did a couple of shows, can't remember actually who it was, and I did a couple. You know, had the full garb on, had the wings, had everything, and yeah, star of the show. Kind of nailed it. I don't actually remember anything about that though.
Because you were like 5.
Yeah, I was 5. I do remember standing, I've got a memory of standing in the corridors waiting to go on. Like we had to line the whole way through the school basically because there was so many of us.
Yeah.
And I do remember standing, waiting and being nervous, but that's about it.
But that has to be one of the best things about the Nativity now, is I don't think anyone will really do a traditional in the sense of like every single part is traditional.
Yeah.
Because obviously you must have seen this video. It won't even be popular by the time this goes out. But the little boy, and he's like, guess what I am in the Nativity?
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic one. Yeah. And he's like, what is it, door holder number 3 or something? Yeah. He's so excited. I love that about the Nativity. It's like, how can we put everyone into a part? And they come up with like the most obscure parts for people to be. Yeah. It's like, is it Love Actually? And she's the lobster.
I've never seen Love Actually.
You've never seen Love Actually? Oh my goodness. No. It's the best Christmas film. But she's a lobster. And everyone's like, a lobster? The Nativity? Like, right. Okay, classic.
Yeah, there's always those people that are like, yeah, I was tree number 4 and stuff.
I was actually the star because I was a star. That was my role.
Was it called The Star though? Or was it about Mary and Joseph?
Well, I can't actually remember what ours was called, but I do remember it not being like a traditional one as well. But we did 1 to 3. There was the Nativity. So in primary 3, I was literally a star, like quite literally a star. And we had 2 microphones at either side of the stage, and the stars sung like a little solo. There were 6 of us, so 3 at each mic. And I remember I was told, you're standing in the middle, and the other 2 stars will stand at that side of you. So obviously I take that very literally, and I'm like, I'll stand right at the mic. Yeah. On the day, the girl who was supposed to be standing at my right or left, I can't remember, just stood in the middle and refused to move. And I was like, nah, I'm not missing this chance to shine. I literally just like pushed her away. And we're like arguing on the stage because I'm like, I'm supposed to be in the middle.
That is ridiculous. How dare she?
This is my chance to shine, okay? And then, you know, I got my own back as well, like 5 years later, because then in primary 7, I got picked to sing a little, like, I don't know, it was a medal. I don't know what it was. You went and sang, and they kind of sick actually. They would rate you like bronze, silver, or gold.
Wow. So
but then
you got
announced
gold,
it in front of
obviously.
everybody. Well, actually, I was really unwell. Like, I had sunstroke or something, so I got dragged out of bed to go sing at this. And it was Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis that I was
Oh,
singing.
right, it wasn't Christmas show. I was like, why did you have a sunstroke?
I know. It was. I had done like a walk for charity the day before, and I had sunstroke.
Convenient.
Yeah, very convenient. I literally messed up, like totally messed up the start, and had to restart because my voice just went.
Oh no, I'm actually
And they were like,
cringing.
"Do you want to start again?" I was like, "Uh-huh, I do."
It was always the ones in the X Factor
She only
that
got
started again.
silver. I know.
It was the ones in the X Factor. I was like, sorry, I messed up. Can I start
Yeah,
again?
and
No.
everyone's like, "Welcome back. You know, you got silver. That's so good." And I'm like, "It's not, though, is it?
No.
It's not. I wanted gold."
So another,
Anyway.
since we're kind of, tooting our own horn here, another Christmas memory I've got is I don't know if I ever said this, but I was forced to go to the choir when I was at school.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned
By
that
my mum.
before.
And, looking back, it was a great experience, yada, yada, but I hated it. I genuinely didn't like it. And to the point where in primary 7, I just refused to go because I was the only boy. Anyway, we every Christmas went in Glasgow, there's a big shopping centre called Princess Square.
Princess Square.
And it's kind of like a fancy one, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
like all the fancy shops in it. And it's like, if you go to Princess Square, it's kind of like, a
It's
wee
like
bit bougie.
hidden in between
Yeah,
Camden
exactly.
Street. Yeah.
And we went and sang there every Christmas. And primary 5, your boy got a solo,
Of course.
and I sang Mistletoe and Wine, the whole song. And actually, recently we had
That's
family.
a high solo.
I know. We had family. I was primary 5 though. We had family round. And we were watching old videos, like VHSs, because we found an
Yeah.
old video player. I'm like, oh, we found all these old videos. We should watch them, see if there's any home movies, whatever. And I didn't even know there was a video of this. And we put it in, and it was someone else's dad had filmed it, like filmed the daughter singing her solo, and then mine was at the end. And it was so high.
Petition to bring the footage in. We're going to put that into the episode.
Try and get
Insert
it.
footage here.
I couldn't even sing that high now. It was genuinely so high, but I was buzzing. Like, I thought that was just the peak, singing up to like 3 or 4 stories of a shopping centre. So
I think Christmas time, though, as a primary school teacher, is genuinely one of the best times. I
but
think
also
it's
one of the worst.
Oh, it's wild. Like, it's
Yeah.
so hectic. There's nothing like it, but it's so much fun. Like, it is so much fun.
At Christmas, like everything, I don't know about you, but everything just goes out the window.
Oh yeah, there's
Like,
no routine.
Your
There's no
routine
structure.
goes out the window. Your classroom, like management, goes out the window. I just feel like everything, it's just like this whirlwind of
Yeah.
nothing is the same
You
right
leave
now.
at like the last day of term, you leave, you go home, and you're just kind of like in a daze. Like, what just happened? Like, I
Yeah.
need a few days to recover before I have to go out and socialize with people. I need a couple of days just to. But see that point where like the Christmas show is over and the nativity's done, and then there's that like week or so
Yeah.
last bit of term. I think that's just such a nice time
Yeah.
because it's been so busy. Because I feel like this is probably the hardest time. We're at the start of December, so it's when you're still rehearsing for everything, but you're still trying to get stuff done.
Oh my goodness.
Like you're
I
still
know.
trying to actually get through the curriculum, and you've got certain points where in my head I'm going, I need to be finished this by December, and
I
I
know.
need to be done with this by the time we're finished. Realistically, I've got this week and next week to get that done, but it's so hard to fit it in because you're like, this is when you don't realize how well the children realize their structure, or how much the children realize their structure, because they'll come up to you and go, oh, don't we normally do maths at this time? And I'm
I
like,
know,
I never
yeah.
thought you would have noticed
Yeah,
that I am a creature of habit and we do the same thing
yeah.
at the same time.
And there's never like more of a time of year where you wing it more, I think, as a teacher.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you've got to
like
just-
2 minutes
yeah.
into your maths lesson, someone will come in and be like, can we just do a quick rehearsal? And you're like, okay, everyone,
Let's go.
up we get.
We're changing.
Like, the gym hall is suddenly free, like, let's go.
Or you have the kind of delusions of grandeur that you're going to have a rehearsal, and then after that we're going to come in and do
A
something,
writing
and I'm
piece,
like,
yeah.
that's not
I
going to
know,
happen.
see, tomorrow-
It's not going to work.
See, tomorrow, right, I've got a rehearsal in the morning up until break. And
Wait,
then
I thought the rehearsal was after break.
no, we've got one, a personal one.
When worlds collide.
And then after break, I've got writing. And then after writing, I've got another rehearsal. Do you think I'm going to get in and out of that
I
writing
definitely am
lesson?
like missing a memo here with the times.
No, it's like,
There's a rehearsal we're both supposed to be at.
yeah, that's in the
At some
afternoon.
point.
Yeah, in the
Is it
afternoon.
not in the morning?
Or is it in the morning?
I think it's after break.
Oh,
This is
no.
when it's good to do a podcast with the person that you work with, because
Oh, I need to check the timetable then.
Truly,
Okay.
neither of us know. So we'll figure that one out.
See, that's
by
why
the
it's so
end of the
confusing.
episode.
This time of year is so bonkers. Like, it just is all over the place.
But it's because as well, it's you make a timetable for something and then there's someone somewhere, and because you go places at Christmas time as well, that we're all going on trips to go and perform somewhere or be somewhere or do something out in the community.
Yep.
So it's like, well, we had this original plan, but then they're not here and this person's off doing that, so we'll just have to rejig everything. So
yeah, I think one of the nicest thing about Christmas time is the community links. Like, we're going to go down to one of the care homes in our town. You went to one.
Yep.
How was it?
Amazing. It was so good.
You'd advise it. Like, it's such a nice thing to do.
It's such a nice thing to do. I think it's so nice. The children loved it, but the residents were just so happy and they loved it as well. And I think it's also a great sort of social skill for the children to learn as well. Like, not just going and singing, but being able to
100%.
interact with someone you don't necessarily know and just do something because it's a nice thing to do.
Well, one of the things, like, we went down last year and the place was packed. There was something like maybe 40 residents or something, huge big place. And then we always say to children, okay, you're going to get a chance to take around a gift and chat to them, and you'll get a juice and we'll get tea and coffee for the residents, things like that. And actually, when you think about it, they're practicing, you know, respect and kindness, empathy for a lot of the residents. A lot of the residents were maybe ill, or, you know, we're struggling to communicate with them, and you've got to deal with that in life. You've got to, you know, have those people skills as well. You've got to speak to someone, communication with someone that you have no idea who they are or where they're from or what they've done. So you've got to build that really quickly. You've got to know what kind of questions to ask. So we actually had conversations with the Sevens last year about, you know, have something prepared, have a question prepared, have a story prepared, make sure you know what you want to ask them if the conversation dries up, all that kind of stuff. And it's actually such a good life skill.
It's such an important life skill
that they learn doing that.
And it's something that's, I think now socialising can be, it's a really hard skill for children to learn because so much of it is done online. When
Especially intergenerational.
Yeah, when you're put into a situation where that's not there. It's obviously really different for them. So I think you're right. It's such a nice time of year for how much everyone comes together. And also seeing, that's something that I think we really missed with COVID, was having people come in and watch a show.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I know we did what we could during the times when we weren't allowed to have people in, and it's not the same. I mean, you'll remember the production.
So we did a song.
So sad.
Listeners, we did a song that was unreal, but the thing was, we had to like film it and put it online.
Yeah, because at this point we weren't allowed to have anybody in.
Yeah,
like, nobody was allowed in the school.
So we sang this song and like produced living daylights out of it.
Zoomed in on the feet of children walking into the assembly hall.
Remember
to make
the
it like
tap
an
on the
X.
leg?
It was like an X Factor, you know, like at the start of X Factor, and it's the emotional. Why are you here today?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There was literally slow-mo of them walking onto the stage.
It was unreal.
And he had put some nice background music over it, and then
Remember,
the lighting.
Like, we had four cameras going.
We filmed it in like, I think we must have filmed it about 10 times to get all these different angles, and then we clipped it all together. There was
and then we got them to lip sync it and everything.
There was backflips. I'm not even kidding. There were backflips involved. Not by me or you.
It was quite intense.
We didn't do any of the backflips.
So yeah, but it's still not the same. Like, that was probably the best performance we've ever gotten to do, but because we had so much time to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as having a live audience.
But then that was nice because at the end of that year, at least we got people in. Like, people were allowed to come in because it was the same year that we got people in at the end of the year. But it is such a lovely time of year because there's something so magical about children that age and in Christmas time. It just is amazing, the excitement. And I love when they come in. I mean, yours maybe don't at the age that you teach, but I love when they come in, they're talking about like their elf on the shelf, like what did their elf do that day?
Yeah,
and
not for me.
It's so sweet. I think it's so exciting, and it's amazing. These elves need to behave themselves.
I just don't know if I can get behind the elf on the shelf thing. That's such a new. When's that come in? That's missed me. When did
must
you start?
Be relatively recent. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You're right into the elf on the shelf. You've always done it in your class.
We have a kindness elf. Our kindness elf appeared today because our kindness elf needed powered to be able to come into the classroom because he got stuck because it was his magic ran out because
you are a living
there's not enough
Hannah Montana movie.
There's not there's not enough kindness in the world, so he got stuck somewhere between the North Pole and the school, and he appeared today. We actually were singing and he just appeared because he wasn't there in the morning.
Was that because of the kindness in your class?
Well, we tried to work out why we think it is, and he wasn't there in the morning when we came in. And then we had a little singing practice and he appeared.
Wow, okay.
So I think it was because we were singing and having such a nice time that last little bit of kindness power reached him and he was able to get to us.
You are the cheesiest person in the world.
So ours is a kindness elf, and he sets a little kindness challenge
Okay.
every day.
But it wasn't always a kindness elf. He's obviously he's turned over a new leaf.
He's a new person now, a new elf.
Yeah, okay.
He's a new elf. He's changed his perspective on life.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'd have the energy. You know, you see some things online, like the people who are like, oh, the best way to do the elf is like you put it in like a box for 5 days or something and say it's like isolating and all that. Remember all that during COVID? They got their elves to like isolate and stuff. Because parents couldn't be bothered doing something new every single day. I've just never got behind the whole elf on the shelf
thing. It's a lot of energy, isn't it? It's a lot of energy. But some of the activities, though, you can do in school at Christmas time are so much fun. Like, I love some of the things. I love making Christmas decorations. I know that's so...
I've not put a single
You probably
one up.
get them home, right? I know... Because I look at the ones I made that my mum still has. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I made you put that on the tree. It's not great, is it?
Yeah.
But I love things like that. I think it's so fun. And I saw one that we're going to do this week. So it's like shrink paper. Have you seen shrinking paper?
I've seen like the shrinking plastic, but never the shrinking paper.
I think shrinking paper is basically the same as shrinking plastic. So it's coming, it's like A5 size. And I'm going to Sharpie on some lines so it looks like a jotter. And then they write like a nice little message.
Oh, right, okay.
Put it into the oven.
The oven.
The oven. Put it into the thing that's hot and cooks food. And then it obviously shrinks down and a hole punch it and it becomes like a little Christmas ornament.
Can I just stop you right
So
there,
cute.
actually? Can I just stop you right there, right?
About what?
In my spelling lesson today, the rule that we were focusing on from the textbook, not me, was O that says ah. Let me give you some examples. Sun, S-O-N. Sun, as in S-A-N. O that says ah.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody, another one. O that says ah. What were the other ones?
He's like, out of ideas.
Can't remember any other ones, but there was a full spelling list of them. So O can say ah, as in oven.
Was that on the list?
I would have to double check that one.
I'm going with no.
I would have to double check that one. But
you
you gaslit me last time into thinking that O can never say ah, but it can. And Mr. I'm not going to give the name away the book, but Holly Hammer, Mr. Holly Hammer, book 5 would tell you that it actually can. Anyway, back to Christmas.
That's also, I find that really, I know you were saying back to Christmas, but that's a hard textbook because a lot of it's English. It's obviously an English textbook, right? So a lot of the accent things, I'm like, we would not say it like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to say the word in an English accent for it to make sense. I'm like, hang on a second.
One of the words was woman, and I was like, how is that all that says a woman? That's Glaswegian. Anyway.
Right, okay, back to the Christmas activity ideas.
Yeah, so you put it in the oven.
Yes, and then it shrinks down and it's a little Christmas ornament, and I think that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And things like that are so, I think it's such a good time for like arts and crafts and singing and all those fun things, but it's such good wee memories that they get to take. And then that's with them. Like a lot of people keep their Christmas decorations from when they were a child.
Yeah, my mum's
their
Christmas
kids
tree.
For such a long, I mean, I know. I think mine's went to the back of the tree. My brother was very artistic.
The back of the tree.
I was not. I guess some of mine got lost.
Yeah. No, my mum's tree does look like a kind of like a collection of like some of the most random things that you've ever seen in your life.
Like all the toilet paper tubes that are on the Christmas tree from decorations.
But she loves it, so fair enough. But you're right. I think all that stuff is one of the nice things about this time of year. What about the stresses of this time of year, though?
Oh, it is a very...
I don't think we feel it as much as infant teachers.
No, because if you've got the nativity to do, that is so much work.
So much work.
But I think you also put pressure on yourselves because you just want them to do so well.
Yeah.
Like you just want... But the show in itself, you've got the whole school taking part in it. Yeah. So it's not just the actual you're going on and singing or doing your poem or poem. Poem's such a Scottish way to say it. It's not just that. It's everything that goes with it. So it's the organisation of when do you need to be down in the hall? When do you need to be lined up? You need to be lined up in the right order. You need to go on the stage in the right order. It's all those wee things that you can't stand at the back and go, right, you're in the wrong order.
And you don't even think about it,
all the like non-verbal cues where you're like, making faces and the kids just know that's what you're talking about because you're going,
We should do a segment one time of like things that you never wanted to do as a teacher, like things that you told yourself. Because I used to tell myself like, I'm never going to be that teacher that does X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And one of the things was standing up the back of a hall, being like, smile, sing, can't hear you.
It's Christmas, you have to smile.
And all that stuff.
Oh, the big hands over the ears. Yeah,
do
that's
it
a
all.
classic.
Like, you should have a string on the top of your head pulling you up and all that. Like,
But I think when I started teaching, I remember the first year I did a Christmas show and they were singing, it wasn't even like a slow song or an emotional song, and I'm at the back like it's so good because it's just, there's something about children singing at Christmas time and you're just so proud of them. It's like and actually gets you in the feels.
It always makes the kindness elf come as well.
Yeah, exactly. The kindness elf is so happy when people sing and smile whilst they sing as well.
I believe you have a kindness
Whilst
elf.
they smile and sing. Is there any activities that you think oh, he's choking, hang on. Are there any activities that you think you'll be doing in your class or you've done in your class before that aren't necessarily like singing? Is there anything that you think is just
I can tell
good
you
at this time of year?
I can tell you one that I'm never going to do
or
again.
Or bad at this time of year? Oh, I know, yeah.
Wait, what do you think it is?
Oh, I think you're
Mouth it to me.
Your little sewing thing?
Yes. Oh, last year,
I don't know I needed
right?
to mouth that because you're listening.
I know, but I just wanted to see if you get the same one. This was the worst, right?
This was a truly horrible
last
idea.
Year, so we always make a craft to the Christmas fair,
yeah,
and then they sell it and whatnot, and the money goes to the school, yada yada. And everyone does like a wee painting thing, or what was the other ones they did, like marshmallows.
We did little like stained glass.
Yeah, you know the drill. Easy
things.
peasy lemon squeezy. Get it in, get it out, and you're done, right? I decided in the magazine for all the booking stuff to get one that was like embroidery. Never again. Never doing it again. So there was like it was a tree decoration, and actually at the end they looked really good.
They did look really good.
It took us 3 months. So there was a tree, like circular decoration, wooden, and it had a bunch of holes in it, and you used the thread and it made a Christmas tree or snowflake, or whatever. See, getting threaded through a plastic needle. You didn't get proper needles, so it was like a plastic needle. Getting that thread through there, that took a week. Then like teaching them how to do cross stitch took a week at least.
Teaching yourself how to do it?
Some of them looked so good. Some of them actually really got it because they already knew how to do it. Like their gran had taught them, or their mum had taught them, whatever. And some of them, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen thread so tangled in my life. It took us so long to get done. And everyone else was like, we were right down to the wire. I was like stitching things together like 10 minutes before the fair, like trying to get these ones done. Honestly, it was...
That's part of the fun though, I feel like at Christmas time, is things going wrong. Like there's always...
No, you're 100% right.
There's always something that goes wrong, but it's just like, I think it's always so sweet, you know, the classic when they go on the stage and everyone's just as much as you say to them, right, don't wave to the people, and there's always one who just stands in the middle and is like, hi,
but it makes it work,
right,
it makes it memorable.
It's so sweet and it's so funny. It just makes me laugh at the back. Or another classic is when you're at the back giving it everything you've got, trying to get them to be loud or like more energy, go for it, and then like parents turn around and look at you and you're like, don't watch me. You don't need to watch me.
100%.
And they clock you in, and I'm like, oh no, now I'm so embarrassed because you're jumping around on the bench, like giving it because sometimes you just do it to make them laugh, like not necessarily for a reason of like they're not copying my dance moves or anything. It's just you're trying to make them more relaxed, so they're all staring at you and you're trying to be like, give them a wee laugh, make it a bit less scary. And there's always people who turn around and they go, or if you're really close to them, because sometimes you end up really close because you're standing like behind all the seats.
And
we stand up on a bench, so we're kind of above
and your
people.
Knees are like on someone's head,
so they can probably feel us flap in the air like around because we're doing all the dance moves to try and encourage a bit of excitement.
100%. If you've been enjoying listening to the podcast, please leave a 5-star positive review wherever you listen.
It's time for Listener Voices, where we hear from you, our listeners. Okay, we could not do a Christmas episode without some of the listeners' voices and the tales from Nativity's past. Now, some of these are from people who are talking about their own school experience, and some of these are people who are talking about their experience as a teacher. So these two are my favourite. The first one, it says, they were doing the Nutcracker. Firstly, that's
so intense.
An interesting choice. Were people up on point shoes? Like, how did this work?
What's the song from the Nutcracker?
That's going to really annoy me now that you've said that, because I actually can hear it in my head, but I can't remember it.
It's not like... Yeah, that one. Right,
yeah,
keep
that
going.
one. Anyway, I was so annoyed because we were doing the Nutcracker and I was playing Soldier Number 3. Classic role.
Classic.
But just before going on stage, for some stupid health and safety reasons, our swords were taken away.
So they were just
So they were just standing on the stage. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? If you're a Soldier Number 3, you need
Is there
your...
like a dance with the swords or something? No.
But I mean, especially if you've rehearsed with your prop.
How
You
annoying.
got to have your prop.
How sharp are these swords?
I know.
Why were they using proper swords?
I remember we went on a trip to Stirling Castle once when I was in primary 3, and obviously, as you do, you all buy the plastic swords. So there was like 50 kids here all having a battle outside Stirling Castle because it was such a nice day, until we got in loads of trouble and the teacher confiscated all the swords. The teacher standing with like 50 swords in her hands. We had a nice time, but yeah, you can imagine the devastation. That's your moment to shine, and they're like,
And then they just kind of cut you down at
like
the
you
knees.
wouldn't have had your frankincense or myrrh taken off you. You know, that would have been fine.
Exactly, and I feel like they should
But
write
the
a complaint.
sword? Could have made like a wee cardboard one if you'd told us in advance.
100%. They should unionize.
Stand up.
100%.
And then this one, I can imagine this one. I can imagine this one. Again,
Oh no, is this going to be gross?
this is a disclaimer.
Oh,
We
no.
don't know these people. These are just people sending in things that they're fine with being in the video, and we obviously don't name them. But it said, my school last year during the Nativity, but there was a bug going around at the time.
Oh, no.
Joseph threw up all over baby Jesus on stage.
My word.
How do you pull that one back?
You can't.
Like, I need to know, right? The person who sent this, I need to know how you recovered from that one.
Yeah.
Like, did you just
Does
play
does
it
everyone
cool?
just- yeah, do
Did
you
they
just
just
cut
sit
it?
there? Did the janitor come out with his little powder? You know, the powder they put down?
Sawdust.
It's not like it's sawdust anymore because, like, I don't know, it just like it all up, you know,
It used to be
sucks up all the
sawdust.
vomit. Like,
Just
did
all
everyone
over
just
it.
have to watch the janitor do this? Did you clear the
Oh.
room? Like, how? I need to know how this went down. Was Baby Jesus being played by a person or like at all?
Well, it's not going to be like a baby.
No, but it's actually someone's baby
A
sister.
newborn.
But sometimes they do, like Baby Jesus is sometimes just to give everyone a role played by
I've never
a child.
seen or heard of that.
I'm sure
Fully
in my
grown
niece's
child.
nursery one, that's what it was. But can you imagine? Oh, I don't know.
Horrific. And
All the other
smell.
children would have been like,
But you know what usually happens is when one kid's sick, another kid is sick.
yeah. But then you lose your
Then
Joseph
they
as
all
well.
start like,
Did he just have to pull through? Like, come on, we've got a show to do.
a single mom who works 2 jobs.
Mary's just holding the fort on her own. You
That's
know,
awful.
how's that? How do you have an understudy, Joseph?
So many questions.
So many. I have a lot of questions for this person, but that is truly horrific.
Horrific. And to be honest, at that point, I would just be like, right,
I'm
come
going
back
home.
tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll
Reschedule.
recast.
The curtain comes down.
Yeah, get the curtain down, recast. You know, the show doesn't always have to go on.
It does not have to go on in that situation. Absolutely not.
No.
Obviously, another classic that you have at this time of year is the Christmas parties. Everything's done. Now, I don't know if every school will do it the same way that we do it, but we basically get time slots allocated to us to go down to like the gym hall, and we've got studio lights and stuff that we can put on, and we play games, and you know, the classic party games, all of that. And we have a wee disco party. They get to come in their party clothes, all of that. I mean, it's only an hour, but as a teacher, sometimes it feels like it's a very long hour because I
It's
am
definitely longer than an hour, yeah.
knackered at the end of the day. Obviously, they love it, but we all try to do it at the end of the day, so that kind of 2 to 3 time. By that time, I am lagging on energy. Like,
Yeah.
I am really, I'm done. I'm checked out for the day
No,
at that
100%.
point. Christmas parties are just, there's 2 types of people. There's the people who are in the middle, like Mr. Poppy in it, playing the games, having the time of their life. There's people who stand at the music, like,
Yeah.
get me home.
I think Christmas parties are a very, very unique experience for teachers.
Yeah.
You know, you say Christmas party to someone in another job and they think, oh, we're, you know,
The office Christmas
the
party.
office Christmas party,
Yeah.
or they go for a night out, whatever. For us, it's like,
Knee slides and tuck shop sweets.
yeah, just running around the room, you know,
I know there's no
screaming and-
dancing. It's literally just
Yeah.
sprinting.
What's your favourite game to play at Christmas parties?
My favourite game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like corners because it's the only one you don't need to judge on. Like, I feel really bad putting people out of games. I'm like, oh, but you can have another wee go, you know? And I'm like,
I love musical statues. I think musical statues...
It's funny because you can go in and make them laugh.
yeah,
and like
you can scare them and all that. I love musical statues. I also love musical chairs. It can get a wee bit dangerous, but I
that's
love...
definitely against some sort of health and safety
I
rule
love
now.
musical chairs and I love musical statues. We do a thing that, like, best dancer.
Yeah, but then the thing is, when you do a best dancer, is they get as close as they can to the person playing the music.
They creep up.
Like, really, really close. And you're like, whoa, I'm not even picking. Like, somebody else is choosing the best dancer. Like, if we have, like, the school discos, they just get as close as they can to the DJ because they think the DJ's picking. I'm like, you don't realise it's somebody else in the room who's choosing.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, they really go for it.
No, they do.
They take it so seriously.
And you've got to applaud them for that. I mean, you do all your classic Christmas party stuff. You do your corners, you do your musical statues and stuff. We've used... Sometimes when you're doing the music, it can be tough to get Christmas songs and music nowadays that isn't inappropriate for schools.
Yeah.
So we've used quite often Kids Bop's playlists are great for this because it's all family friendly stuff.
Yeah.
So they've actually got a new song as well called Together This Christmas, which is great for Christmas parties because it's, it's family friendly, it's easy to put on and you're not worried about it having any little inappropriate bits in it.
And it's a bop.
And it's a bop. It's a kids bop. Some of the Christmas songs in recent years have been pulled for different things. Public opinion's gone against them for different things. And I think it's just, it gives you peace of mind knowing that it's all child-friendly stuff.
Exactly. And you still get the classics that they love to sing, even if it's that one that they changed to Tesco's.
What?
The Last Christmas. My class loved to change that one. Every class I've had.
Oh, yeah.
I gave you my heart, but the very next day. That one.
You sold it on eBay.
You sold it on eBay,
That's what they changed it to in my class,
This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone in Tesco. That's what mine changed it to.
It's such a random line.
I don't know why, but they all sing that and they think it's so funny and I'm like, yeah, got it. Cool.
Got it. Christmas parties are crazy.
They're wild. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Inside Voices and thank you for all of your support this year.
We'd just like to extend a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and all your family.